Hey, what is going on, guys? This is going to be part two, the review portion of taking a look at some Little Armory stuff. So once again, if you guys didn't see the unboxing video, go back and check that out where I unboxed a load of Little Armory stuff from Tommy Tech that was sent to me from Japan Toys Australia. So again, big thank you to those guys in Japan Toys Australia. I'll put the link to their site down below, guys. If you are living in Australia, then check out their site. They got a lot of cool stuff on there. So thank you to them for this stuff. So the first thing we're going to be taking a look at here is the DDA school desk set. So this stuff is meant for kind of figma, but you can also use them for frame arms girls, which I'm going to be using the frame arms girl architect here for our test subject, as well as Megami device, which I'm going to be using the Asura Ninja Aoi. And then, as requested by a lot of you guys, I will also be taking a look at how this stuff compares with the size of some Gundam model kits here. So I've got a HD and a Master Grade kit here. Obviously, I don't think anyone's really too concerned about the how stuff like the desks work with Gundam model kits, but we'll be taking a look at the weapons with these guys, and maybe the desk as well. So first, what is included in the desk set? Well, you get 3 chairs, and they're all exactly the same. You do have the option for the little hook on the side, whether you want to have just this little bolt detail or the hook. You can choose whether you want to have that on either the right or the left side for just a hanger. I think that's for like a bag or something, whatever you want to hang on the side of the chair. And so they're all the same, but you just have the option of that little part there. And then for the desks, you have the option of either making 3 desks like this, or 2 desks and a podium. So just for the sake of it, I've built 2 desks and a podium. So the podium is pretty simple here. It uses the top part and this part, which are the 2 main parts here of the desk. So you need to use those to make the podium. And you can only make 1 podium. It only includes enough parts to make 1 of these. But if you don't want to make the podium, then you just have the 3 desks. And this one as well has options for whether you want to have the hook on the side there or just that screw detail, so you can choose that. And then you have a bunch of different parts like this little option part here on the side. You have little just eyelet ones like that. You have just these like straight pegs for, again, it's just for hanging stuff off the side of your desk. You also have these like hook style ones as well, like for that. I believe these are also maybe for like umbrellas and things like that. Again, I'm not super into Japanese school desks, so I don't know about that, but they have a little bit inside there. You also have option parts for adding these bits here on the bottom. You have 3 of these, so you can have, if you build all 3 desks, you can have these parts on all 3 of the desks if you want. But again, this I believe is for like a backpack stand, so you have your backpack hanging on the side here, and then you just have this bit on the side there, so it's not on the ground. And this part, I guess, for your feet there, of course. Although it's shown in the manual to be like on the front here, when I feel like it should be better like here where your feet go, not that your feet are gonna be like way up in front of there. I'm not sure, but anyway, you can put it on the back if you want. It's very easy to just take that off and just put that there if you wanted. So the desks are simple, nice, no wood grain like in this. So I think what it might be cool to do is just kind of sand it with a little bit rough sandpaper to just make some like light lines in that to make it look a little bit more like wood grain on these parts. But otherwise, they're pretty nice. They're pretty simple. Also included in this set is this big sticker sheet. Now it's just all one big sticker, so anything you want to use from this, you'll just have to cut out yourself. A lot of this stuff, I'm not really sure exactly what that's supposed to be. I believe this is just like a class roster. And then I think these are also just names and numbers, days. They're days of the week. Because you have these set pieces as well. So you've got 2 of these. There's just these big, nice thick cardstock pieces here. You can have these 2 put together like that to make one big chalkboard, or you can put this like this to make like the kind of the corner of the room like that. We've got the door and the chalkboard. The only thing is there's nothing included in here to actually make these stand up, so you can't really use them as they are. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to make them stand up. Looking at the box and looking at the manual, which is very brief, it doesn't really seem to give any indicators about how to actually use these. So that's a little bit weird. If I'm missing something, then let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll pin your comments so that people can know about how to do this. But otherwise, as it is, I think I would have to like scratch build something. I had to build like a frame out of plot plate or something like that to make these actually stand up. But you have those anyway, and then of course you can stick your stickers on there if you want to make it a little bit more individualized with all these stickers on here. So that is that. Let's see how this stuff actually works with some kits. Alright, so Gundam Kun there looks a little bit big for his desk, looks a little bit weird obviously, but the Megami Device kit looks very fitting for the size. If you guys don't know, Megami Device and Frame Arms Girls are a little bit different in their sizes, Frame Arms Girls being usually a little bit larger. So she's looking a little bit tall there for the podium, but still the size obviously it looks like it makes sense. Obviously they're pretty close to the size. The Frame Arms Girls are supposed to be 1/12 scale, and these accessories are meant to be in 1/12 scale as well. So they're supposed to be relatively accurate. The Megami Device kits are actually 1:1 scale because they're weird, but anyway, they're also similar in size. Let's take a look at the next thing. So we're going to try out some of the option hands here on our Megami Device kit. We're going to try out the skin tone hands. These just give you some nice different option hands, and they'll have a fixed joint in the wrist, so you won't have to worry about any weight issues or anything if you're holding a little bit larger, a little bit more heavy weapons. Although I don't really think any of the weapons for these, just because of the size of them, they're all so small, they're never going to be like really that heavy, I don't think. Let's check out our option hands here. So you've got a few different options for the angle of the wrist, whether you want to have it just straight on or slightly bent or a little bit more bent. You can choose there between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different angles for that. I'm just going to go with just a straight on here for the moment. Anyway, while we try these out. And in here, it essentially looks like you've got a like larger open hand, I mean a larger holding hand for like holding something larger, holding hand for just something smaller, and then 2 different sets of trigger fingers. I'm really having a hard time noticing what is the difference between those. They look maybe slightly different, but not really all that much so particularly. And then of course you have one for each of the left and the right for those. So this should give you some good options for holding different things. So there we go. It fits into the hand well enough and actually matches the skin tone pretty well to these. Different Megami Device and Frame Arms Girls and everything can have different colors of skin tone, but this actually is a pretty close match to that. And as you can see, just the size doesn't look weird at all. It looks pretty much fine. I think between the Megami Device and the Frame Arms kits, while their overall height and size is a little bit different, their hands are basically the same size, so shouldn't really be a big noticeable difference for those. For our Frame Arms kit, we're going to be trying these. This is a set of tactical gloves, so these aren't just bare hands, but they actually have some like glove detail molded onto them. And so they're going to be a different color, obviously, instead of the light violet color that we have on this particular kit. They're now going to be black gloves for that. For this one, I'm going to try a little bit bent wrist for that, and also a trigger finger hand, I think, so we're going to be holding some weapons here in a moment. Issue number 1, at least for this kit. I think other kits will be different. It has a larger hole here in for the hand. That's the same 3mm size peg hole that this has hard points all over the kit. And so this little bit here is not going to fit in there, so I think we'll have to use the original wrist joint. So it'll have a purple wrist and then just the black glove hand. So at least for the Frame Arms Girl Architect frame, you won't be able to use the fixed wrists parts here of the tactical glove set. Tongue-tied. But anyway, there's that, and they look pretty nice. They look definitely a little bit small, but like side by side with the other hand, really not all particularly that much different. Again, once you're actually holding a weapon, I don't think you're really going to notice that much. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the heavy shield first. This one essentially comes in 3 main parts. You have your main shield here, which is nice. You have the clear parts there for the lights, as well as a clear part there for the window and the shield. You have these nice little, very tiny little parts here for these little like kind of rivet details that go in around there. The bottom part is on a hinge. The back part, you have a little hook there for that, as well as a couple little bits there for the arm. So the arm will go up through there and then grab onto this kind of part there. And then we have a strap for that. So this is like a soft rubber, and honestly, it's kind of cool, but not really great. Just because of the natural curve of the rubber strips, it's not really going to rest like in a kind of straight position, as this should like hang down like that to have some weight to it, but it's going to look like that, like it has no weight to it. So it's not really all that super convincing. And then we have this smaller shield in here as well. This is just kind of meant to be just kind of held onto the arm. As you can see, just the arm slips through there and holds onto this one here on the side Okay, and after a lot of time and these things being some real tenderonis, they don't really want to hold this stuff very easily. I mean, they hold it fine, but just it's little parts and you're dealing with things that are kind of really finicky, so it takes kind of a little while to get things posed up. The range of articulation on everything makes it really easy to get any pose that you would like, but it sometimes takes a little bit of work to just get everything to stay together, especially when I don't have anything glued or anything. So at the moment, here is just that, and the shield looks a little bit big for a Megami device kit there. As you can see, it's pretty large, but it's supposed to be large, so I don't know, maybe that looks about right. And I think it might be a little bit better for a frame arms kit though. But there you go, you can see how those are going to work pretty simply. And if you wanted to use this with an HG size gun, you can see that the large shield is going to be pretty big. The smaller shield is also going to still be pretty big, and obviously just looking a little bit weird just because of its like cloth aesthetic to this. If you wanted to have it with something larger, like a Master Grade or something, the shield size I think is pretty accurate to about the same shield size that 100 scale kits normally have. But obviously I think this might be a little bit better. This might be something that you might want to look into using if you have like the Master Grade Ingram kit. I feel like this would be a good accessory for the Master Grade Ingram because it would be about a similar size and it seems a little bit more fitting to the aesthetic of the Ingram more so than the Gundam. Up next, let's take a look at the MP5K coffer type briefcase submachine gun. I'm not really sure what that's technically called, but here it is. That's pretty much it. It's very simple. It's just a black briefcase. Looks simple enough, right? You can see the little hole there for that to be able to shoot as it is with like a little trigger built into the handle there. But then when we open it up, ta-da, there is our gun inside there as well as an extra clip. And I will say that it does actually clip close pretty nice and tightly. So if you want to just carry it like that, I really wouldn't worry about this like accidentally falling open if you're just having a figure or a kid or whatever, just holding on to this as it is. Just for a size comparison here, the size looks about right. If you wanted to have your Gundam carrying a briefcase, I think it also works about right. Gundam just going to work. No one would ever be the wiser. Zeon never knew what hit them. But yeah, when that is opened up, you can remove the extra clip. You can also remove the gun, of course. It's going to be, I think, a little bit tricky. And there's this really tiny piece there that I actually broke, so I had to glue that. And I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to get this out of here. Yeah, really don't want to break that tiny little piece again. I feel like it is breaking though already. So you kind of need to remove this piece there in order to take out the gun. And there's this tiny little bit of plastic sticking down there, which you can see is now broken again. I'll have to glue that. But that's like kind of what's supposed to hold the gun in place there, but it's so tiny and super fragile, so oops. Anyway, here is what that gun is going to look like. Again, if you wanted to compare it with a Gundam, I think it would be kind of more in the size with a high grade kit. If you were using this with a Master Grade, it would look just ridiculously tiny. I think obviously just the overall styling doesn't match at all either, but if this was something you were into, you would have to modify the hand or the handle in some way to be able to hold this, because there's just no way it's going to be able to hold on to that handle. But with the frame arms girl, as you can see, the size is going to be matching up pretty well, and that looks pretty cool. And then the last of our weapon sets we're going to be taking a look at here is the P226 and P228 type pistols here. So you've got 3 of each. They're very tiny and only very slightly different, but here's the P226 and the 228. Pretty nice. So you've got 2 of just the regular guns like that. And then you've got 1 of each of them cocked back like this, so those are pretty nice. And in this set, you do also get a total of 6 extra ammo clips. They're all the same, you just got 6 of those. And then 3 tiny little flashlight accessories which can be plugged onto the bottom of the 226, not on the 228, they only work on the 226. So you have 3 of those, which you can plug onto all 3 of them if you want, or none of them if you want. They just very easily come off, yeah, like that. And then you also have a set of night vision goggles. Now these are going to take some glue. I did go ahead and glue a few parts on here. So these will fit onto somewhere. It's not really particularly clear because there's not really any way to actually stick these onto anything. You'll have to do some modification for that. And you also have this extra piece here. I'm guessing this is something that's like supposed to be attached then onto like the side of the belt or something like that, and then maybe there's like a wire or something that's supposed to be going between these or something. Again, not really particularly clear in the manual, and I'm not really into this kind of stuff, so I really wouldn't know, but you have that extra little piece for that. So it's basically this mess of tiny little guns and ammunition here that you get in this set. A lot of little tiny stuff. These, again, the size are about right if you wanted to use these with a particular Gundam kit, but as it is, the handle won't fit into the hand, so you'll have to modify that in some way to be able to make it fit. But once again, when in use by the Megami device or Frame Arms Girl kits, they're going to be looking just fine in terms of their scale and ability to hold them using the Figma hands that we're using here with these. So finally, the last thing we're going to be taking a look at today is the Military Hard Case B. It's a set of hard cases here that you can build. Now you can build them, interestingly enough, in a few different ways. I've just built 2 small square ones here, but you can build these as one larger rectangular piece. So you have a few of these leftover pieces here that you can use to join them there in the middle instead of making them 2 separate ones. It's illustrated here on the back of the box. You can make just these square cases like I've made here, or you can make one longer one, or you can actually build it double high here if you wanted to have it a little bit higher. You can build it up like that. We have our included accessory of this basically paper hay here, which is meant to go in there just to add to the looks of that. But easy enough, this just pops open off the top like that, and you've got some of this like line detail on this, and some nice wood grain here on the top of that for the detailing of that. Also included in this set, we have 2 of these ammo cases here. So these are also pretty nice. The handle on the top can pop out, so you can have the character holding onto these if you want. It's kind of hard to make it stay out because with gravity it's just going to naturally fall into there. These can of course also open up if you wanted to have them open. There is a hinge there in those, so those are pretty nice. We also have included a mallet and crowbar here as well. So for any of you guys who want to follow Freeman, you can do that now with the included accessories here. Very nice. And then the last thing included with this is a set of water slide decals, which are pretty cool. These are markings for the boxes, for the crates, so you can use those if you want. Very nice to be included with this set. Those are pretty cool. Alright, so that is a wrap on reviewing this set of pretty awesome stuff here from the Little Armory line. Hopefully this video has been helpful for you guys if you're interested in this stuff. I know a lot of people had commented that they were interested in the line, but they just really didn't know enough about it in terms of how the scales matched up with different things, and they can't this stuff is not very cheap. It does come with a little bit of a price tag to it, so if you were interested in getting some of this stuff but weren't really sure about it, hopefully this review has been helpful for you guys so you can get an idea of this stuff. There are, of course, a lot more available things in the line. This is just the stuff that was sent to me by Japan Toys Australia, so again, thank you to them for sending this stuff to me to check out, and hopefully it's been helpful for you guys. So let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Are you interested in getting some of this stuff? Do you have some, or was this helpful in any way? Thank you so much for the comments, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next review. Bye bye.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.